Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's Africa Speaks, and my name is, as usual, is Stephen Molindra. Nigeria goes to the polls in a month's time. Who is who in the Nigerian election? What is next for this great nation? And what should we, as Africans, expect from Nigeria, especially seeing the way forward, how Nigeria will go? With me in the studio is Chief, who I want to mention his name. I want him personally mentioning his name. I know he's a chief. He's sir, a doctor. Could you introduce yourself, sir?
Thank you very much, Steve. Good evening, viewers. My name is Chief Sir Dr. Ejikeme Uzoalor, President Emeritus Ohanaeze Igbo, and the coordinator, Atikulated Agenda 2019 UK, and also chairman of Anaedo Social Club, London branch. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Elections are here. We are looking forward to them. Buhari has been president of Nigeria, as everybody knows. What is going to happen during this election? How should we perceive this, we outsiders, non-Nigerians?
Yes, of course, we are having an election, as you may know correctly, and which is going to take place in next month, February. And we have about, so to say, 91 political parties.
Wow!
Out of which 68 were duly registered by INEC. And among those 68 parties, you have the three biggest one, which is APC, you have PDP, and then APUGA. Others follows. Of course, that the flag bearer of PDP and His Excellency Abubakar, the former Vice President, and the incumbent President Muhammad Buhari. So these are so far the two major political parties that everybody is looking at for this current election. The fact is that Nigerians want change.
Yeah.
We want change.
Okay.
And the pendulum is swinging towards PDP, Atiku Abubakar. Yes. So to say, power of incumbency is still there. Buhari is trying to use all his machineries to make sure that he stays in power, that he goes for the second term.
Yeah.
But most Nigerians feel that this time Atiku Abubakar will take up.
He came up with a very big expectation, and when you see some of his campaign, he says he's achieved quite a lot in terms of, say, money that was being stolen from Africa, trying to curb corruption. He said he has fought so hard, and in fact, I think a number of names were mentioned of people that he has, and millions and millions of pounds and dollars that would have gone abroad is now stuck back in Nigeria. But of course, he's mentioned a number of things that he has achieved, and he says Nigerians should judge him by that, and therefore give him a second term in office. Looking at his that background and what he says he has achieved, are we being deceived over this?
Personally, and probably I may also be saying for some, should I say 80–90% of Nigeria, that we are disappointed.
Okay.
Very disappointed
with the promises,
he made in 2015 about change, fighting corruption, energy, Nepal, you know, all those things.
Yeah.
We are in 2019.
Yeah.
Nigeria cannot boast of steady electricity under President Buhari's regime. Yeah. Now, he's fighting corruption. Corruption.
Yeah.
The money he's claimed or has claimed to be recovering from so-called
corrupt officials,
corrupt officials, corrupt politicians. We don't know where those monies were going. No infrastructure. As to say, okay, I got 50 billion from SYZ. I use it to you know, construct a road from Onitsha to Benue, or rail or industries, you know, something tangible, visible.
That you can see.
That people can see. Nobody can pinpoint. That is one thing. And it's not only corruption. Even corruption is worse in his regime.
Now than it was.
Yes, compared to President Goodluck's regime. So, fair enough, he's telling people we are fighting corruption. But people are dying of hunger. There's poverty, there's crime, there's a lot of killings and kidnapping. So there isn't really anything that you can pinpoint that this is what he has achieved over the last, you know. As far as I'm concerned.
Because even now there's a claim that the Boko Haram issue and the military is a success story. I think one of the success stories he has. I wonder whether that's true or not.
But even you, Mr. Moderator, can attest to that.
Yeah.
We still have a
Boko Haram going on.
When he came to power, he said he will eliminate Boko Haram. He will defeat them. But Boko Haram is still existing, killing people in the northeast, in the north, even destroying villages. Not the worst thing is killing the Nigerian armies because they have no good equipment to fight the Boko Haram. No good guns, no good armored car, or even so-called fighters. So the Boko Haram insurgents, the terrorists, they end up killing the Nigerian armies. It's all over everywhere in the social media. You can see that in WhatsApp and everything. Even the army themselves are now protesting, are even doing videos to show the suffering, the insubordination they are going through, so-called fighting Boko Haram. You can't go and fight Boko Haram with empty-handed. But no machine gun, nothing.
The Nigerian military budget, if I'm not mistaken, oh my goodness, it was a lot of money. That the budget for the military, even there was protest in the Nigerian Senate over the amount of money that was going to the military.
Budget to the military, yes. But nobody can account for it. With all those so-called billions of naira budgeted for the military equipment, for the defense and all those things, where is the money? What have they done with it? Can they tell us from 1 to 10 what they made use of that money for? Oh, you bought fighter, you bought ships, you bought equipment, you bought guns, you bought this, tangible things for people to see, or you build barracks. The army are well looked after, they have a good housing, good equipment, well dressed up, even well fed. That is the most important. That most of these our Nigerian armies are dying of hunger. Those who are fighting the insurgents, the Boko Harams in Zambezi forest, they are really terrible, suffering. That's no support.
We get a very different picture. What is again? I think being an Igbo man, you probably know more about this. There's a young man called Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu. Yes. And there've been a lot that has been in the newspapers in regards to what he wants Biafra now, and a part of it comes because of what is happening in Nigeria now, because nothing is really happening, and said, look, maybe we better try Biafra once again and see. Do you see him being an issue, a major issue in this year or in years to come, or his threat is already gone?
The problem of Nigerians' unity has been an issue
for years.
It has been an issue for years. And these are the things that led to the Biafran War. And unfortunately, the problem that led to the Biafran War is reoccurring. The marginalization, the inequity of distribution of Nigerian wealth. And not to talk about the concentration of power in hands of one ethnic group of Nigeria, of course, triggers all this problem. And that's why Nnamdi Kanu with his group are calling for restructuring. They want Nigeria to be restructured. In fact, not to be restructured. That's why they are demanding to have Biafra. You know, but the issue here is the same kind of group you have in the north, you have in the south, you then with the IPOB, the indigenous peoples of Biafra in the southeast. The heavy-handedness of the Nigerian government towards the IPOB, led by Nnamdi, is uncomparable to the other sectors of different groups that are acting as a terror in the sense of demanding to grab or to dominate one section of Nigeria, like what the Boko Haram are trying to do. Right? But this
Boko Haram, I think, are going on a religious stance.
They are trying, but the issue we are talking about here is the IPOB. What they are doing is only protesting and the verbal. Media protest. They have not, carried arms to kill anybody. So why are they being massacred? Why are they being persecuted? The issue is to be able to call them and have a dialogue.
Have a dialogue, okay.
Have a dialogue. And in this modern age, equity shows that you must treat everybody fairly.
I know.
And have dialogue with each section and know what their problem.
No, the fear.
The problems are.
I think the fear of the government at the time, the day, is always that something begins small. So if you deal with the situation before it starts getting out of hand, you will have a second Boko Haram in the Igbo land. Let's deal with that before it even becomes, because the Boko Haram issue, they let it ride, then after a period of time, now it went out of hand. If they had dealt with it right from the beginning, the previous governments, if they had dealt with it from the beginning, you wouldn't be really having this kind of situation.
During the President Goodluck's regime, he dealt with Boko Haram. The northern people, including Buhari, started accusing him of killing the northerners.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
That is always, he's killing the northerners, this and that. But he was trying to eliminate and subdue the Boko Haram, which, of course, we don't know who are funding them. You see. Now, Buhari campaigned on the ticket that he will come and then eliminate Boko Haram and defeat Boko Haram. That's going to be peace. But unfortunately, what are we seeing? The killing, the kidnapping of Chibok girls and the massacring of the people in the north.
The churches are
everywhere. Still, Buhari is trying to go for second term, and Boko Haram is still existing. We are still talking about Boko Haram in Nigeria. Can you imagine that? Now, Nnamdi Kanu was demanding for Biafra. Now you are turning to find a way to eliminate him. That shows inequity or unfair treatment between those movements in the north and also the movements in the south compared to those in the southeast. We are not advocating for any civil war because what we want is a peaceful dialogue, diplomatic discussion. Let's sit down and see how we can make Nigeria work. Do
you see Atiku accepting that dialogue, sitting down and accepting that dialogue?
Of course.
If he goes in.
Yes, Atiku in one of his manifestos is saying that he's for restructuring Nigeria. And for restructuring Nigeria, which a lot of groups we are calling, is to make sure that Nigerian different ethnic regions come to the table and define how Nigeria will be governed. And how the Nigerians' wealth should be fairly distributed. And development of the country should be fairly distributed, because Nigeria is not only in Abuja or Lagos. You know, look at here, United Kingdom, where we are. Every section, every town is being developed. Of course. You talk about London, you talk about Manchester, you talk about Liverpool. You can go there and live very well, because what you see in London is what you see there. But in the case of our country or in Africa, they try to concentrate development only in the capital, and the rest becomes bush. But that triggers the migration of people from the villages to the town. And when it comes to the town, it becomes so congested that nothing works.
Jonathan Goodluck once said that one of the biggest problems is that money leaves the central government and it goes to these regions to develop the regions. But the problem is the administrators in those regions are not, the key thing is for them to account for where the money has gone. Because he says, look, we sit down as a central government, divide the money up, and it's those people in those areas who need to account for where the money has gone. So he says he tried to rub that into the area sort of, so even if Atiku comes in and sits down and the money goes, it will still be the same system. Unless something changes and accountability begins from the village level.
What we lack in Nigeria is good governance. You know, we lack good governance right from the time of independence. Even those era was a bit fair compared to what we are seeing now.
What we're seeing now.
You know, because if you have a good leader who makes sure that things are done, that has the mind of the citizens at his heart, things will work. Because that brings development. Now, what we are talking about, the allocation of revenue in Nigeria to different states. Fair enough. What stops the president holding the governor of a state accountable? Or what stops the House of Reps, House of Senate, or the senators, or even the local assembly, the state assembly, holding their governor to accounts. So, if, for example, 2 billion was allocated to any state,
and you don't see the
and there is budget, they have budget, and you don't see anything that money was used for, why wouldn't you question that?
Exactly.
Apart from that, what of even the people of the states? Why wouldn't they rise up and ask and question their leaders? Because in Nigeria, to say corruption is stripes, it's from the top to the bottom. So for us to really fight corruption, everybody must examine his or her conscience. If you go to office and then you give 50,000 to somebody to facilitate your form, or to facilitate, therefore you're encouraging corruption. So if you don't do that, there will be no corruption. If that person demands that money and you report to the appropriate quarters and the action is taken, corruption will die, including the police force who put checkpoints everywhere demanding money, or the military. These things are something that the government supposed to stop, supposed to eliminate. And it can be done.
It's possible. It's very possible.
It can be done.
One of the key things that I've discovered, and one or two other colleagues that I've talked with who are Nigerians, they are seeing that nobody among the electorates now, the candidates, wants to mention health. Health is a major issue. Now, the rich people, get the private jets, come to Dubai, go to London, get the treatment, and then you go back. Now, Alistair, one of the candidates, was mentioning it, saying, look, health tourism, people raise money, nairas, millions and millions of nairas, to go for treatment abroad. Now, those who can't afford, of course, remain in Nigeria and die in Nigeria. And in fact, I remember the Soviet Union, the president of Russia, mentioned that. He said that Africans, the graveyard. He said, look.
You mean Putin?
Yeah, I mean, Putin, he mentioned that. So at the end of the day, but I'm looking at Atiku and all the others, and none of them seems to be mentioning that health, which is one of the major issues, that it will be, it's something that...
I'll not be prominent, projected as an issue of discussion. Yes, in their manifestos, in Atiku manifesto, something about health also is there. Health is an important issue.
Even Buhari mentioned it in his. Even
health
at the moment.
Yes, health is very important.
Yeah.
Now I want to give you some point about this question of health.
Yeah.
Everything goes back to good governance.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Now you have a good president, and you have a minister for health, and the minister for health supposed to know about health.
Yeah.
Let's say you can appoint a doctor, you can appoint a pharmacist, you can appoint a nurse, anybody who is in the health industry, who knows how things will be done. Now, the issue there is build good hospitals, equip them, get your doctors, pay them well, get to the university, train the medical students, make sure that there's no strike, pay the professors, pay the teachers, run the universities very well. Let there be a constant academic period, not every time there's a strike because the tutors are not paid, the teachers, the professors are not paid, this and that. And for 1 or 2 months, students will not go to school. How would they then qualify and become good doctors? How would you then have a good medical personnel to be able to treat?
Of course not.
Apart from that, the hospitals are not well equipped. You don't have good medications, you don't have x-rays, you don't have surgical equipment, you don't have beds, you don't have anything.
Do they allow private hospitals to be opened up? Because I come from Uganda, and we have something similar, but now we have private hospitals that are springing up slowly. People are going into if the government is not investing there, then ordinary people could invest there. Now, I've got 1 or 2 Ugandans who have actually built small clinics. They have been abroad and they've gone back home and they've built clinics that are even doing better than what the government provides. Now, Nigerians with their wealth...
Yes, we have private hospitals, and the private hospitals are well managed.
Yeah, of course,
They are really well managed. But the issue is that they are very expensive for a poor person to be able to afford.
Yeah, okay.
And if a farmer or a market woman is sick, first of all, those hospitals demand money. Before treatment.
Before treatment,
So, and the money they are asking is not just, they can ask about 20, 50,000 that the farmer or the market woman cannot afford, or even a common trader. So that brings us to government initiative to have a good health system. Like we have here, NHS.
Of course,
Nigeria is rich enough to run NHS similar in our own country.
Of course.
Because if it's well organized, well managed, and good people trying to lead that system, we wouldn't have problem with health.
But everything comes back to corruption. Now, the biggest problem is because one of the Nigerians I've met and another Ghanaian guy I've met during these discussions. At one point, we were having a discussion centered on corruption in Africa. Corruption is such embedded in our cultures and our system that it's very difficult. It's going to be very difficult to root out. Now, the only option we could have, as the late Delegiwa, one of the journalists, was killed.
Delegiwa,
the Nigerian journalist was killed. Was the fact that he was saying, look, let us get, if we are to get people's names out, and we can prove people come to us independently, and we don't have to mention their names, and we know where the corrupt officials are. We know where the money is, because some people want to mention those who are corrupt.
Yes.
But the problem is that they fear. There's that fear element.
Of course.
They'll lose their jobs. They'll lose everything.
Yes, they can even be killed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
yes, it's true.
Almost the way he was killed.
Yeah.
So there is that big problem that even the next leader who comes on in Nigeria, or the next leader who comes on in Uganda, or in Kenya or Tanzania, because the system is that, it's very difficult to root it out. Even if that leader tries, he may end up being killed. So do you see, can there be a solution to this?
There is a solution.
Yeah.
There is a solution.
I'm sure African leaders will want to hear it.
Somebody must have to sacrifice.
Yeah, yeah.
We are in the modern world. All these processes we are going in Africa, these people,
the ones existed, of course.
It's somebody who stopped it.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
The issue here is for Mr. President to start with, to be impeccable, for him not to be corrupt, and to make sure that those under him are not corrupt. You must check them. Yeah. And you must have a system, a mechanism to check them. You must put a machinery in place. When Rawlings did what he did in Ghana, things changed.
Of course, yeah. That's a
things changed.
Example,
The president of Ghana now is doing wonders that even the Ghanaians are leaving United Kingdom
to go back to Ghana. Yeah. I see.
You know, now if you go to Ghana airport today, the kind of airport equipment for immigration is almost similar to what we have here.
We're here in the UK.
Automatic machines and biometric system you walk through. That shows it can be done. Corruption can be stopped because the leaders know how that corruption exists. They know the way the corruption move. So if you know the way the system is being operated, you can stop it.
Yeah, you can.
And the first and foremost is pay the police good salary.
Yeah.
Pay the army good salary. Pay the civil servant good salary. Everybody that is within the government should be paid well and be paid on time. Don't owe them 2 or 3 months or 4 months salary. How do you expect them to feed their family, to survive? These are things that brew corruption. If an army man or a policeman is well paid, he will not want to take 1 naira or 2 naira from a motor, a driver driving on the road.
Because his salary is there.
Because it's well paid. The same thing is here. The police, the militaries, everybody that is in the Western world are well paid. And that's why you cannot bribe them. And if they take bribe, there's a way they are caught. Because if you start living beyond their means, you are questioned. Where did you get the money? Because they know your salary. If you have made use of your money to invest in something, in a business, there's a trail.
How about the declaration? That Uganda has tried it. Declaration of wealth. You declare how much money you earn, how much assets you have when you are in office, before you enter the office. So if you become a parliamentarian or become a minister, the declarations is there that this, all my houses, all my cars, all these things I've had them, because you may be a businessman. Suddenly you enter public office. And then suddenly you have your private, businesses. The way Donald Trump is. And then they're going to start questioning, where did you get this money? When you, in actual fact, you have your assets. So when you declare this sort of income that you had it before, and then you are into suddenly, and when we realize now, you never declared this, and suddenly you have big buildings, big this, big that, then suddenly we say, hang on a minute, you're a public servant. Where did this money come from? That declaration, do you think it could be something worth doing? Because somebody has suggested it. This lady, the former Minister of Finance in Nigeria.
In Nigeria, the one that resigned because he didn't do the youth corps, according to the Nigerian system and the ethics.
Yeah. She suggested it, that everybody who becomes a senator, everybody who becomes a minister, everybody, governor, let's know your wealth. Let's put it down.
Correct. You must declare your wealth.
Yeah. If you haven't declared it,
it's being done.
It's being done now.
It's being done in Nigeria, even during the time of good luck, and it's being done.
Okay.
But the problem is, how do you check those things? Because if you declare that you have so, there must be an organization or government department that should check and take inventories of those things.
Okay, all right.
So, is the implementation. Everybody declares. Currently, we have a problem with the Chief Justice of Nigeria that being arraigned now because he didn't declare his assets. It's currently going on. And now people are questioning, because what Nigerians are saying now, that if you are in opposition party, that is when the EFCC will come to check that you are corrupt. That's when Buhari's machineries will be at work. But those in Buhari's party are not being checked. So if you are an opposition party member, the EFCC will start trying to scrutinize you. Your wealth. That is what Nigerians are saying. But it's supposed to be general to everybody.
It is.
It's supposed to affect everybody. If you say you want to curb corruption, corruption must be curbed along ethnic, along general, along everybody's line. Not to focus it on your enemies or the oppositions and use it as a machinery. And when once you start investigating them, and if they jump ship and come to your party, you stop. That's what's going on in Nigeria. And the evidences of that, you know? So, tell me, you said you are fighting corruption. Corruption is not only the agenda of a government.
No.
Because if you are fighting corruption, what of health of the people?
Exactly.
What of building industries? What of employing people? People are unemployed. And dying of hunger. Those who leave universities and have no work.
Job creation.
Teenagers, no job creation
at all.
Even try to facilitate, put a enabling environment for the private sectors to work. You must make it easy for anybody who wants to open an industry, factory, build things. There must be an easy way for them to do that. Not to make it difficult or start even probing people from certain part of Nigeria that are doing well. Like, for example, Innocent Motors also, they were trying to target him because he was the one building motor car vehicles in Nigeria. Doing very well. Those of other people who have cement industries, you went to attack them. You are not enabling that environment for job creation, for people to develop, even for foreign investors to come to the country to invest.
I was coming to that because one of the big problems now that not only Nigeria is facing, but the whole of Africa, is the fact that when foreign investors are coming in, there's a line which is now affecting most African countries, and now the Chinese have come in. And in fact, I was reading about River State, I think. They are coming in large numbers, and they're mulling local girls, and they are becoming Nigerians, and they're becoming Africans in a certain way. They're bringing in money. Other people are accepting them because they locally, once they're in a local area and they become part of the system, then everything is fine because they're investing in the country. Now, a British man will come in, try to bring in his investment, get banned, and he will run away because Richard Branson tried to invest in Nigeria.
Virgin Nigeria.
He got banned and he ran away. Now, is the foreign thing, is the Chinese model now acceptable in Africa? Because it's a general worry.
Stephen. That is a very good point you raise. But I want us to have a few moments to deal with that. We shouldn't, move quickly.
Rush it up.
I don't want us to rush it, but because I want to tell you some genesis of Chinese investment to Africa. And the enabling condition, and also the perseverance of the Chinese people. The Chinese are not Caucasians, they're not European. For us, we don't know them as Oyibos, my own language, the white people. We don't know them as white.
No.
So they also have the same suffering environment as we are. So they can adapt to our system.
Right, very easily.
But not
like the Indians, for example.
Like the Indians. But that is not only the case. The problem now that the Chinese are now having the technology. They have now equipped with technology. Acquired from the Europeans and also developed on their own. And they are willing to come to develop Africa. Without conditions.
Without conditions.
Without telling you that you must first turn to gay, or turn to this, or not to do this, or not to do that. Or your government must be this or must be that. So they come, they develop their nation, and they fit in. But there is still a danger there.
Of course,
Because the issue is that I have a friend who is also raising an issue of the Chinese children in Africa. Some of the, like what you said, they're married or they have girlfriends, they give birth and they abandon those kids and they go back to China. Then the kids are there.
It's common in think Zambia now.
So that is an issue also that one of my friends is trying to raise awareness that we should be dealing with those issues as well. That the Chinese parents or father should take responsibility of those kids, because they're also a part of problem to the African government. Now,
it might not be now, but in future,
it's already it's happening. Because the problem that you pregnant a girl and then you abandon her and then you go, of course, there's a problem there.
The child is not going to fit in.
It will not fit in. Everything is there's a little bit problem, but people are trying. It's a global village. We're trying to harmonize and accommodate everybody. Now, a Chinese man is willing to come to your village and settle and do mechanized agriculture. But a white man may not. He wants to use you to do it.
Get his money and run.
So these are the two different things. But the danger with the Chinese people is that they acquire and they go back to China. Everything they have is they send to China. They are not using it to develop the area, which I know. Forget about the government contract. The government contract is different. Yes, they are willing to come and build a railway line. They will do it. They can do it cheaper because they've got the technology. But the fact that they come to do their businesses, all our agriculture or minerals or all these things are being shipped back to China. Even they stole the diamonds or the golds. A lot of it, when they come to even construct a road, all these rocks, when they break them, they get big diamonds and gold, and they hide it. And our government have nobody to check them. Because if our government are checking them, they will not be able to ship those things. There was an instance in Nigeria. The Chinese were given a contract to do railway. And they were breaking grounds and rocks. A lot of diamonds
was found.
They found it, they ship it, they hide it, and that will be flown away overnight. And the Nigerian workers cannot say anything. Because the government don't care. Government, if they have a government official supervising, see what is happening. When you get those minerals, it's for the country, not for the Chinese. But they still all this ship it back to China.
But I was talking to a Chinese official at the Olympia Hall. There was an event which I attended, and part of it was foreseeing agriculture in Africa. It was an agriculture where they're bringing in agricultural equipment in Africa to develop Africa. And he mentioned that when they went to do a certain road in Nigeria, and they were, you know, the main, because my argument to him was that why is it that you come in numbers and you come, you know, they
bring their own people. They don't employ the local. That's an issue also I want to raise.
I was saying that locally, Africa has the population. It doesn't really. All you need to do is bring in the engineers, bring in the technicians,
and use our own people.
Use our own people.
Correct.
You know, this is what Kenya is saying. This is what I think Zimbabwe and the others are saying.
Yes.
But you still do the same thing. Yeah. But the man says, look, one of the problems they discovered with that is that when what the Nigerians had expected was the fact that you give us the money, we have construction companies here, and we will build the roads. And at one time they did that, then they realized that the roads were not built. So they said, no, we'll never do a project like that anymore in Africa, because the money disappeared, obviously, because of corruption. So now they trust their engineers, and they trust more of their people than they trust, even in agriculture, in anything they want to do. They said, if we bring in our own people, however locally, low class they may be, they will know exactly what to do. And then they will train the Africans to do exactly that, and then we'll go back. But again, as you're saying, it's a question of supervision.
Yes.
These governments give them all the leeway.
And they just left them.
Yeah. But
on their own.
Ethiopia, on the other hand, has not done that.
Good.
They are in Ethiopia, they're doing what? But Ethiopia, they have opened plants, but Ethiopia says no. What is he doing? Is he a sweeper? No, we don't want a sweeper. Is he a driver? No. Is he an engineer? No, take him back. We have an engineer here. We have a driver here. So Ethiopia has restricted them so much, to such an extent that most of it's only the top officials who are there.
Yeah.
You either do that or you don't come in at all. So why can't Nigeria do that?
There must be a balance.
Yeah.
There must be a balance, because to be fair to the Chinese, knowing the African corrupt
the way the system
mind and attitude, you know, of course, you know, you give a contract, you take 10%, and of course the roads are not built. But the issue is there that the Chinese should be encouraged to employ the locals.
Yeah, exactly.
Mix up with their own people to make sure that the job is well done.
Yeah.
That I agree.
Okay.
The point that they get from the cleaner to the engineer, I vehemently reject that. Because what they are making our own people to be unemployed.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas employing their own people. And not only that, the whole money goes back to China. It's not circulating.
Yeah, that issue has been raised, and
just a moment, my brother. One more thing where I find difficult is this: a Chinese man comes to my country, and I have now to learn his language. He's supposed to learn my language or English. Not only that, they are bringing their own police, like in South Africa. Why should that be?
Yeah, and in Zimbabwe, I think.
So these are the things our leaders are supposed to stop. Even our members of parliament should not tolerate that. Because when you go to China, they don't learn your language.
No.
You have to learn their own. They don't give you the conditions.
Yeah, there is an argument in South Africa about that, and the South African parliament has been debating seriously regarding that issue. And I don't know how far it's going to go, because it was introduced by Malema, one of these radical young men.
Yes, the one that were fighting Zuma. Yes.
He introduced it, and the legislators, they are thinking seriously about how they can introduce it and how they are going to deal with it. My issue at the moment on Nigeria is that the current people who want to be the next president of Nigeria, these are some of the issues that are not being addressed. Now, you even mentioned, as you mentioned Atiku, you mentioned obviously Buhari, and you know these issues have come in, and they have refused the debate, because there was supposed to be say, let's have a debate on where all the candidates come together and we hear the policies, you know, because in campaigns that are going through, fine, we can hear that. But when we hear you debating with the others, we come in with that. I don't know what...
We know where you are.
Yeah, why do they refuse the debate?
Let me tell you, it's incompetence, number one, or that they don't have the material, they cannot speak, they cannot debate, they cannot make their point because they are not, in the sense, in control of what is in their manifesto, or in control of what is going on in the nation, or the problem of the nation, or are afraid to answer a very difficult question because they cannot answer those questions because they are corporate. So, to avoid the embarrassment,
they'd rather not do it.
They take an easy option out, but that is bad.
Yeah, it is.
It's bad for democracy.
Yeah, it is.
And if Nigerians are well educated, that is even a reason not to vote for them.
Such people. Yeah, exactly.
Now, for the last this debate that went on last week, the presidential debate, Atiku was there. Yeah. He turned up. Yeah. But because of Buhari wasn't there, he went back. And this, that is the only thing I don't like. Because you're supposed to make your case.
Exactly. Because
let people see you. You have a good agenda. You have a good manifesto. Put it to the people. Let the people ask you questions, answer, so that people see how you are capable of running the nation.
The country,
And people ask you difficult questions. The way you answer that, we encourage many people to vote for you.
Exactly.
But because you say, oh, if Buhari is not there, I shouldn't be there because you are measuring height or whatever, or personality, you know. But that is something Buhari did in the last, in the previous election. He didn't turn up to debate, but Goodluck was there. Goodluck made his point. The fact that you're supposed to convince your voters is enough for you to be there.
Exactly.
Is enough. You see, we are talking about the Chinese and all these things. The problem is to manage the Chinese. If you allow them to come and run your country, bring their policies in their own independent country, very soon they will take over your country.
Of course.
They will dictate your economy. They will dictate your policy. They will turn you to their own communist world. But that is not exactly what we want. The fact is, you are coming under my own terms. I want you to build airport. We agree you are building airport. This is the way you build airport. You build the airport. After that, you can go. If you want to remain as because it's a democratic country, you follow my rules and my laws, and not to come to create your own colony in my own country.
I think one of the problems is that, as you're saying, it's a question of the leaders, because the leaders, if they see that it's like a child, for example. If a child sees that you're weak in maybe punishing the child or anything, then the child will continue to do what he or she wants. So it's similarly, the colonial masters, when they came in with religion and everything, they realized our weaknesses. And then, of course, they took over from that.
They capitalized on that.
Now, the Chinese have seen the weaknesses. And they're also saying, okay, I think we better do. We can do what we want here. But let's start slowly. Now,
they are coming up in a different way. They are not a trick. They're different guys.
Of course.
So it's better for our people to wake up. Because what the point you are making is very, very vital. Because before we know it, we can lose Africa to the Chinese.
Them. And the fact that they have put so much money, you know, they are lending so much money, knowing very well that you're not going to pay this money back anyway. Over a period, the World Bank has always been forgiving us, but that World Bank money is so practical our money, which is being stolen and brought in here. Of course, and it's invested.
All those embezzlement and corruption. Where is the money landing? They are
landing here. Exactly.
And they use it to develop the Europe countries. Even Great Britain, how many of our wealth are here?
Exactly, quite a lot.
Quite a lot. So think about all the African countries they've colonized, or the whole world. See what they have managed to ship back to this country.
There's very little. I mean, Libya recently, they were sitting down and going through the books and saying, look, they are trying to find out Gaddafi's money, where the money went, and obviously, if they had to withdraw most of the money from Italy and these other countries where Gaddafi had invested, had put a lot of his money, so many of those banks would collapse, and because these people had put too much money there. If say, look, I need my interest over the 20 billion. How much is that for the last 20, 40 years? So
it's true.
Yeah,
you are saying that. Check when Nigeria was trying to repatriate Abacha's money.
Yeah.
32 billion.
Yeah.
See how difficult is it for them to release it?
Yeah.
Upon that, have made a lot of interest upon it.
Out of it, yeah.
And not only that, they were giving Nigerians condition how to even use the money.
Yet it's their money.
So the problem is that sometimes we have to blame ourselves.
Exactly.
Because what I was saying before is that a child of 50 years is no more. It's not a child.
No.
You can't continue to blame the Europeans for everything.
No.
So we ourselves must take responsibility. Exactly. And how to take responsibility is to have a good governance.
Yeah.
And for our people not to be deceived, because the problem we are having is also illiteracy.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of educated people.
Yeah.
And even there is still educated illiterate. That is most of what we have in Africa.
I was saying in the previous programs that maybe a generation that will come, because maybe with our education structure, we have a problem in a sense that when we're studying in Africa, we are not taught how to love our country. We are not taught how to, we are taught how to love your neighbors, your village and everything. But when it comes to national event, we are not taught how to love your country in a sense that if you come in as a child, and I've always given China as an example. When Mao Zedong was, with the communism.
Mao.
Yeah, Mao. He taught
Mao.
He taught the Chinese how to love China. Now, the education structure is centered on China. Now, over a period of time, now, even when they take the money, it's going back because they are taught how to love.
Their nation.
Now, Nigerians have got to be taught to love Nigeria. Ugandans have got to be taught how to love Uganda. But the educational structure is centered on the West. Yes. So it's difficult. Maybe the next generation should be taught that,
You are very right.
Yeah?
Our education system is solely rested on the Western world.
Yeah, that's why everybody's interested in American music.
Yes,
and,
America. But unfortunately, we, the Africans, we should learn by now.
Of course. We need
because we don't need to reinvent the wheels anymore. No. The lights has already been invented. Yeah, exactly. What we want to do now is how to use it to progress.
Yeah, to progress, yeah.
You don't want to start knocking two stones to get light. No, it's there.
It's there.
Use it to move forward. So we should be, at this age we are, try to make use of what we have or what is already there and improve on it. Okay. Educational system, as we are saying, because everything in Africa centers on a good governance.
Yeah.
The problem is good governance. I use Ghanaian president, this current president. I always quote him and use him for an example.
Okay.
Maybe those in Ghana may not all of them may agree.
Support him,
but the fact that he has done some few tangible things, and even what he has voiced out, the statement he has made to the world about Africans not coming with a begging bowl and all those things. It shows you that it's time for us to take care of ourselves.
Of course.
And we can. We have the money to take care of ourselves. But it's good leadership, good governance. How do we get it? It's for these so-called octogenarians to retire.
Get
the old to retire.
Yeah.
David Cameron is my junior.
Yeah.
But he was a prime minister.
Yeah.
If you retire the prime minister.
I mean, Canada, Canada, the man is very young. Yeah.
You see them.
Yeah. Belgium has just got to
encourage the youth to take over.
Yeah.
Put them into line.
Yeah.
And don't teach them the corruption way, because that is once you are teaching them how to be corrupt, that is the same way everybody will be taken along. Yeah. But if You say, no, we want to build road, and the road is built.
Yeah.
And everybody will see that that road is built to the good quality. And there's light, and there is water, and there is housing, and industry for people to go and work.
Yeah.
All this criminality we have,
would go. Now,
we will go.
Yeah.
The killings, the kidnappings will stop.
Yeah. There's one thing which I've always addressed on this program, and it is something that is to do with women. Rwanda has succeeded in a sense that with so many women parliamentarians, there's a lot of achievement that has happened. South Africa is trying to gamble on something similar when we have women candidates in areas, and you believe that women, because of being mothers, maybe the chances are
they can govern well.
They can govern well. Now, Nigeria being a male-dominated society through the cultures and so on, this could be a way forward, maybe. I'm suggesting this because that lady that
Obieze is running for president. Yes, among those who debated. Yes,
and Gozi, I think one of the authors mentioned it in one of her speeches. That look, if we encourage more girls, there are more girls that go to school, and with more women to enter into the political arena, and then take more responsibility in certain areas. Maybe the corruption, maybe all the issues that will come down in Nigeria. If there are more women senators in Nigeria or women governors, what do you think of that? Do you think it's
I totally agree. The issue here is to give everybody a fair chance. Be you a man,
but the problem is
be you a woman.
They can't compete.
No, I'm coming. Because even here in United Kingdom, they have all women ticket.
Yeah.
In Labour Party that I belong to, they say all even my ward, they were saying 2 positions are for women.
For women, yeah.
You know, so we would like to import that system. We must give women an advantage to come up to certain positions. Because what you're saying is right. Women have another way of seeing things, working hard. You know, they may not be all that corruption-minded. Because as mothers, you want to see equity and fairness. You know? Yes, we are encouraging. And the Nigerian politics is also encouraging more women to come on board. Some of these presidential candidates have women vice presidents. You know, if you go through them, Kingsley Moalo has it, you know, and other 2 or 3 of them, then plus Ejikeme that is running as a presidential candidate. You know, so we need to give them support and encourage them. Or try to affirmative action. You know, we can try to put something like that in place. But the question is, you need somebody to implement it. You need somebody to pursue and make that the agenda is done.
Now, if the senators, somebody brings this up in the Nigerian Senate and says, look, in the next election, all political parties will have at least 5 women standing on as senators, so that if there is that declaration by the government or by the Senate itself accepting, then the chances are, obviously, the women will appear. But because of the dominancy that is existing, because the women, educated women are there who can fill these positions. Now, it's either put into law so that nobody challenges it and said, look, we are looking at equality. But with equality, they don't stand a chance.
Do you know where that is should be more effective is the political parties. To make sure. Because the political party must have that into their policies. That there must be either 50% women in different positions or different constituencies or senatorial district and all those things. That is how it will work. But for that even to work, government must make law.
It has to be a law.
It must make law that certain percentage must be reserved for women. And that must be there. And not only saying that, must be implemented.
Yeah, it must
because
be.
what we are lacking is implementation.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Some of these laws we have them, they are written in black and white.
And that's it.
It's implementation. It's what we are lacking from most of African countries.
Of course, yeah.
You see. So that is the problem that are facing us. And the issue that somebody wants to be a president and die on the sea is what we're supposed to stop. You know, all this dictatorialism is the time is gone.
That's the other century. This is the 21st century. We need to move on. Gosh, it's very difficult to implement anyway when someone is in power. The challenges are going to come from left and right, but what do you do if they can't? I mean, the West has tried in Zimbabwe, for example. They did a lot in even cutting of the economy of Zimbabwe went from good to bad. But Mugabe wasn't going anywhere until something internally happened. It becomes difficult. But Nigeria is trying, and I'm very hopeful in years to come with these elections as they go on. And I don't know whether Buhari is coming on. How do you see it? How do you see the edge between the PDP and the
APC?
APC, because those are the two main parties.
Major political parties. I think
on a 2-to-1 kind of thing. You think one of them, Buhari, is on his way out?
The problem is if the election is conducted free and fair. If the election is conducted free and fair without rigging. The PDP may win.
Will win,
You know, but if the election is rigged, because normally the incumbency have the missionaries and these things to rig, and if the INEC, because the problem is the INEC that is organizing these elections, if they are checked and the political party make sure that the elections are conducted in a fair and free manner. Nigerians are tired of this killing and Fulani horsemen killing people and butchering them and acquiring land and chasing people away from their villages. You see. The worst is that the president of the country says nothing and does nothing.
I get your point.
You know, so these are the things why most of Nigerians will move to PDP. And not only that, the economy is bad. The economy is not moving.
It's not moving.
People are suffering. There's hunger. There is nothing to talk about. The money is not circulating. No job, no employment.
The issue of ECOWAS being part of the election strategy in East Africa, they're trying. I think Kenya and Uganda and other countries are trying to see that the East African community becomes involved within the elections, because what is happening is that if the whole issue getting foreign observers in, and if you have your own people, say for example Ugandans and Kenyans and Tanzanians get involved in elections in Uganda, there are more chances that, of course, the others are from the other. These elections can't be rigged. Now, a suggestion had come from ECOWAS as well that if they can mobilize an army, therefore they can even mobilize people from Ghana, Senegal, all these other countries, so that if the elections are taking place in Nigeria, you have observers from ECOWAS who will even not only be there, be at where the ballot boxes are
the police stations,
and so on, so that the biggest problem always happens that if it's only certain individuals who are going to be there, that's where corruption comes in, and that is where the weakness comes from.
The manipulation of voters' card.
But a man from Senegal will be neutral, a man from Ghana will be neutral. There won't be any, So that issue, can it be implemented? Of course, it involves money. But if ECOWAS is not poor, and
it is possible.
Although Buhari didn't like the idea.
No, it is possible. It is possible because the issue of having foreign observers to observe elections has been going on in Nigeria. They have the European Union. They have people from America.
But
even we have Nigerians in diaspora.
They're just in smaller places.
That is it. But even we Nigerians in diaspora also send our own delegate to observe elections. You know, having ECOWAS is a very good idea, and the fact that is to make sure that they are dispersed all over nook and corners of the country where the polling booths are to monitor the election processes. That is the most important, and also to be neutral.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
Also to be neutral, because the Africans being what we are, you know, influences of one over another may come up. But if they perform in a neutral manner, that will help us. One more thing. We have PVC, so it's biometrics or electronic and all those things. Those issues supposed to be well checked.
Of course.
Because areas that we vote for a certain candidate, you will see that the machines are not working properly there. That we have experienced in Nigeria.
Of course.
You know, so these things must be well thought of and managed. Not even only managed. Check that is functioning. You see, the problem of, because I'm the president and what I say goes, shouldn't.
We're coming towards the end of the program, and it's been wonderful getting all the information from you in regards to Nigerian elections, and I do hope that they're free, fair, and our winning candidates really takes that position, because we want the best for Nigeria. And there's a saying in Africa now that what goes on in Nigeria, when Nigeria catches the flu, the rest of Africa gets the cold, or something like that, because Nigeria is practically Africa proud. We are looking so much towards what goes on in Nigeria. And I just want to say thank you very, very much for coming to the program, and also to our viewers. Thank you very, very much for being with us in today's program, and I do hope that you've learned something and we get the best of what we are going to get, especially as far as the elections are concerned. The issues we debate nowadays, well, we can debate about them. There's nothing much we can do about them, but we do hope that we learn from them, and our learning will make sure that you learn from them as our viewers, and at the same time, maybe, and just as I say, maybe, there's something that you got to learn and implement what you've learned. Thank you, man. Thank you very, very much for viewing, and may God bless you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We have a lot of issues.